Markets here down 3% across the board as the escalating coronavirus outbreak continues to fuel investor concerns. Yahoo Finance's Julia Roche is standing by with Anthony Scaramucci, Skybridge founder and managing partner, to get his take on this wild market. Julia.
Hey, thank you so much, Jen. That's right. We're here with Anthony Scaramucci at Skybridge's 15th anniversary.
And we're live.
And we are live, Anthony. Another crazy day in the markets. What do you make of what's going on right now?
Well, when I came in this morning, we had an earlier conversation, but listen, the president's press conference last week, that was $1 trillion. The phone call last night to Fox News, easily $1 trillion ripped out of the market. And so what I would recommend to the White House, get the president off the phone, get him off Twitter, get him out of the press room, and get experts and scientists out there to talk about what is going on and just give the American people the truth. Mm-hmm. And if you do that, the markets will calm down and the volatility will tighten up again in the markets. The markets do not like uncertainty and unknowables. And when the president's out there stretching stories and telling his 17th or 18,000th lie, the market's reacting wildly because this is about science and people's lives and health. It's not about saying that the square footage of the condominium at Trump Tower is 10,000 square feet when it's only 9,500. You see what I mean? So let's cut it out now. This is a very serious crisis. I mentioned this morning that this could be the president's Hurricane Katrina. It could be something worse than that if they don't get a crisis response team in there to talk to him honestly about the mistakes that he's making.
Yeah, you brought that up, the Hurricane Katrina. Walk us through that idea there, why you think this could be his...
Well, in 2005, the hurricane was a colossal, epic disaster for New Orleans all the way up into Houston, but the president's team didn't react well to it. And there's a very famous picture of President Bush peering outside the window of Air Force One, looking at the disaster zone. He didn't get there fast enough. He didn't respond fast enough with FEMA. And it really cost him a lot of points in his popularity. Now, it was in his second term. The president's going into re-election, and he's got a lot of things up against him. He's got the gender gap. He's got a fervor like I've never seen before on the Democratic side. You saw the turnout was historic on Super Tuesday. And so if he wants to calm things down and reset things, he's got to get a good crisis management team involved.
Okay, you just brought up Super Tuesday. You said recently on CNN International that you're a lifelong Republican, but you are going to be supporting Joe Biden.
I think Joe will be the nominee at this point. But yes, I'm a Republican. I'm not a Trumpist. What I was trying to make a point of it, the president's actually not a Republican. He's excessive deficit spender. He's broken almost every Reagan-like policy. He doesn't have the quorum of a Republican leader. Just think about Ronald Reagan's 11th commandment, thou shalt not say anything negative about a fellow Republican. There's so many things about President Trump that don't make him a Republican. Now, he has moved the Republican Party into the Trumpist Party. He's got guys like Kevin McCarthy and Mitch McConnell that have disavowed the Constitution and disavowed the Republican Party to be Trumpist, and I understand that, but it's not going to be me. I'm more in the Mitt Romney camp and the Jeb Bush camp, where you have to tell the American people honestly what's going on. So somebody like Joe Biden would give the Republican Party, if he won the presidency, would give the Republican Party an opportunity to reset itself and recognize the mistakes that they're making under President Trump. And then that party could have a chance to grow again demographically, and that party could have a chance to renew itself, which it's going to need to do if it wants to be competitive over the next generation.
Right. Well, I want to get you to respond to this because Jeffrey Gundlach of Double Line Capital was on CNBC today, and he made a case that Joe Biden is completely unelectable. Those were his words. What would you say to him? What would your response be to that?
So the first thing I would say is in April of 2016 on Wall Street Week, which I was currently hosting, Jeff Gundlach said April of 2016, Donald Trump was going to be elected president. Right. He was going to get the nomination, and he was going to get elected president. He also said he would wildly deficit spend, and that would create a tremendous amount of volatility in the economy and in the market. So, Jeff, you got that 100% right. He may, in fact, be right about this. I don't know. Okay, I've obviously been wrong about a lot of the things in politics in my life. But here's the thing I would say that's different right now. It's a relative evil game. And the president is so woefully mishandling this crisis. And one of the big legs of the president's stool is the markets and the economy. He's getting the help from the Fed, but he's hurting himself every night when he goes on television, that he could turn himself into a situation where he is way less electable than Joe Biden. And so maybe Jeff Gundlach will be right. I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, if Barack Obama and Michelle Obama come into the game here and they start rebuilding the Obama coalition, and you get guys like me, which I'm willing to do, going into the white ethnic areas of Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, and explaining the systemic danger of Donald Trump, it's going to be a very tight election, and some of us may be able to convince people that Donald Trump is a threat to their democracy and a threat to the checks and balances system of America, that it's made us all safe from autocracy and tyranny. And so we'll have to see what happens. Jeff may be right, but he also may be miscalculating the passion that people have for defeating the president.
Just going back to the coronavirus and what we were talking about earlier, what I'm sensing from this conversation with you is you're talking about uncertainty. Are you worried as a CEO, someone who's running a business? What are the things that are top of mind for you right now, and what needs to happen for you to get more clarity and certainty as an investor?
So I am worried, but the good news for me, for whatever reason, in periods of crisis, I usually have an ability to be very calm and very cool, like during the 2008 crisis. But it's reminiscent of what John Maynard Keynes said about the market. He said that he was a beauty pageant contest judge. And it wasn't for him to judge beauty, but it was for him to assess what the other judges thought was beautiful. And that's how you make money in the stock market, according to John Maynard Keynes. But that's also how you have to deal with a crisis. And so, again, as I said earlier, you don't want to underreact or you don't want to overreact because, both of those things could be potentially dangerous. But I do think this is a crisis primarily because people are changing their behavior that's having a vicious cyclic effect into the market. So you get a vicious cycle. If JP Morgan says don't fly and Deloitte says don't fly, and it touches off dominoes where other major corporations don't fly, and then you start canceling a lot of events, or people start canceling conferences. You have a 500,000 barrels of oil, according to the Wall Street Journal, that didn't get shipped by Saudi Arabia to China. This sort of vicious cycle slows down the economy, affects behavior, and you could turn something minor into something major. What the president is making a very big mistake doing is trying to code it over, trying to pretend it's minor, calling it a flu, saying that people get symptoms and they don't need to go to the doctor. All of that stuff that he's saying, okay, it doesn't sound consistent with the experts and what the experts are saying. And so I think that's causing some of the hysteria.
Well, Anthony Scaramucci, founder and managing partner of Skybridge Capital, thank you so much.
And you met all my partners.
I met all your partners. Thank you so much for having us here on the 15th anniversary of Skybridge.
It's great for you guys to be here. You destroyed my office, which is totally fine because I'm never in it anyway.
Well, thank you so much for letting us
I hope you come back.
Use our office. Jen, Miles, back to you all.
We are not on the hook for any destruction that Julia LaRoche did, but I can't imagine it was
just
anything.
Some of the finest sports memorabilia in the world. It's fine.
She'll put it all back together, don't worry. Anthony Scaramucci and Yahoo Finance is Julia LaRoche at Skybridge.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.